ChatGPT, relate ACM to the movie Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 through the lens of A Course in Miracles, ACM. Iron Man 3 is much more than a superhero movie. Beneath the action and technology lies a story about identity, fear, trauma, vulnerability, self-worth, and the question of who we are when the symbols we rely upon are stripped away. Through the lens of A Course in Miracles, ACM, it becomes a powerful lesson in releasing false identity and discovering the strength that lies beyond external forms. At its heart, the movie asks, am I the suit or am I something more? ACM asks a similar question, am I the body or am I spirit? The armor as the ego. Tony Stark's armor represents more than technology. It symbolizes protection, control, specialness, identity. The ego creates psychological armor in much the same way. Roles, achievements, defenses, images. ACIM teaches that defenses are made against the truth. The movie repeatedly explores what happens when Tony's armor no longer provides the security he expects. The fear beneath the confidence. After the events of New York, Tony struggles with anxiety and fear. His outward confidence masks inner turmoil. ACM teaches that fear remains hidden beneath many ego defenses. The movie beautifully reveals the vulnerability beneath the persona. The collapse of self-concept. One of the most ACIM-like themes in the film is the dismantling of identity. Tony repeatedly loses access to the things that define him, his technology, his resources, his certainty. The ego constantly asks, who am I without my accomplishments? The movie becomes an exploration of this question. The hero's journey within. Although the movie contains external battles, the real conflict is internal. Tony must confront fear, dependency, attachment. ACIM teaches that the true battlefield is always the mind. The movie beautifully reflects this inner journey. The illusion of specialness. Tony has built much of his identity around being exceptional, unique, different, special. ACIM teaches that specialness is the ego's substitute for God's love. The movie repeatedly challenges Tony's attachment to this identity. I am Iron Man. The famous phrase undergoes a transformation throughout the story. At first, it reflects identity with the role. By the end, it points beyond the armor. The movie's deepest lesson is that Tony remains himself whether the suit is present or absent. ACM teaches a similar lesson. The self remains unchanged regardless of external conditions. Fear versus trust. Tony initially responds to fear by creating more armor, more suits, more protection. The ego always seeks additional defenses. ACM teaches that peace comes through trust rather than protection. The movie beautifully illustrates the limitations of defensive living. Relationships as healing. Tony's relationships become crucial to his healing. Connection, support, vulnerability, joining. ACIM teaches that healing occurs through relationships when they are used for forgiveness and awakening. The movie repeatedly points toward this truth, letting go. One of the central symbols in the film is Tony's willingness to release what he once believed he needed. The ego clings. The Holy Spirit releases. The movie's conclusion beautifully reflects this shift. The central reflection. The ego watches Iron Man 3 and asks, what protects me? What makes me special? Who am I without my defenses? The Holy Spirit watches Iron Man 3 and asks, what remains when all defenses are laid aside? Viewed through ACIM, the movie becomes a powerful lesson about identity, fear, and the release of false protection. Tony's armor symbolizes the ego's defenses. His healing symbolizes the recognition that true strength comes from within. The deepest message may be, the ego teaches that safety comes through armor, control, and specialness. The Holy Spirit teaches that our true strength does not come from what we wear, own, achieve, or defend. When the armor falls away, what remains is the self that never needed protection in the first place. Go to mwge.org to find some movie clips and a brief write-up by David Hoffmeister.